Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Behind the Groove podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington, and we are back with another review. Today, we are
Mhm.
going to review the live action series One Piece. This is a Netflix original. IMDb gave this an
Yes,
8.4, which isn't bad at all.
that's solid. That is a
It's pretty
solid
solid,
number.
man. And it was like out of the 8 episodes, only one got like below an 8. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool too. But some of the character names in this was pretty cool. Monkey D. Luffy. I was like, Monkey D. That sounds like a DJ name. And then you had Nami and Zoro and all this other stuff. Man, it was. This
Mhm,
was. I'll tell you this, right? And I was talking about this offline. For me, when I watched the first
mhm.
episode, I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And
Yeah,
then
yeah, it was rough. It
I
was
watched the
rough.
second episode and I was like, oh, I still don't know if I can do this. But then
Mhm.
you have to get through the first two episodes.
Yeah,
Once
yeah,
you
yeah.
get through the first two episodes, then it's a pretty solid series. What do you think?
I agree. To me, the first two was rough, and I was like, "Why are people watching this show? What's the big deal? I don't get
Hmm.
it." And then when I continued watching because I was bored. I just kept going like, "All right, fine, I'll watch another one." Is that's the Netflix thing. They get you to watch another one.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." And you start getting into the concepts and mythologies and like there's big how big the world is. Cause like I don't know anything about this world. Like you're thinking like this is America or like this is somewhere like in the West Indies somewhere. Like somewhere local.
Hmm.
And like it's a different planet. That's what it is. Once you understand where the planet is and what the shape of the world is, things start getting more interesting, and then he gets like he deals with more and more powerful people, and I like the concepts, and I'm like, yo, this show's crazy. This realistically for me, this show, I was like, this show is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't understand how like what are these guys, the manga people? What are they smoking? Like what are they eating? That it makes them this wild imagination because
It's like,
I would have never thought about this.
yeah, it's just like all the main pirates were like they had superpowers.
Yeah, they're all like monsters and
Yeah.
stuff. Like,
It's just like this is crazy, man. Um
mhm.
there are two things about this. Again, the first thing was like getting past the first two episodes to really get
Yes,
into the
you have to
series.
get past the first
Right.
two,
The other
which
thing
is
that was
rough.
really interesting to me is I think this is supposed to be set in like 1738 or 1750, something like that, right?
Yeah, but like it's a different universe
Yeah,
because this is not America. This is
right.
not like a world. It's
Right, right.
somewhere else.
This isn't 1738 like based on
Yeah,
our,
yeah,
history, right? Because the reason
Y-
why I was saying that is because you had people with suits on, ties, shirts with
yes,
collars. There was
yeah.
like,
They got neon lights
yeah,
and like,
even in Nami's house, they
mhm.
had a porcelain farm sink with faucets, with a
Yeah,
faucet. And I
yeah,
was just like, okay. And then, the clothing that Nami was wearing, I was like, this is stuff that Gen Zers are wearing right now. What are we doing here? This is
yeah, yeah.
crazy.
You had
So,
the dude, I
mhm,
forgot his name, that's wearing the suits. He's like wearing regular button-up suits
yeah,
on the
Sanji.
a
Uh huh.
pirate ship. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm,
I'm like, there's like it's a mixture. Excuse me. It's a mixture of all these cultures and time periods.
mhm.
And I think that's the fun of anime, that you could do that. It doesn't matter because it's a mixture of some time periods, and it's something about it that makes it so it's interesting to you when you see it. It doesn't. None of the stuff in this world feels out. Like if there's a neon sign in a pirate bar,
Mhm.
and they got lights. They got regular lights, but they're also in ancient times where they had just a candle or whatever.
Yeah.
And like it's back and forth between all this stuff. Like
Mhm.
the restaurant had like regular lights, like
Yeah.
it's a
And
fancy restaurant.
it's so weird because you had like the creature comforts of like what we enjoy today. You had
Yeah, yeah,
the music was banging. The music was
mhm.
modern day. They had as a
Yeah,
matter of
yeah,
fact, like when when Arlo came into the restaurant, the needle scratched on the vinyl. It was like,
yeah, yeah,
and I was just like, they even have this and whatnot. I'm like, okay, this is kind of crazy and whatnot. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
this was pretty interesting. I am not mad at this, and there is a season two, so
Yes, they got
that's
picked
coming
up.
up. They got picked up.
This show is a huge hit, doing
Yeah.
Stranger Things numbers.
Hmm.
Like it's high up there for Netflix for how much revenue and people watching are, and
Right.
people retaining their subscription and how many because it's like hours watched or something like that. That's what they keep their tab on,
Mhm.
and this is high.
Yeah.
This is very very high.
The
So they got a hit, and they're like, yeah, oh, you get another. Netflix is like, we're gonna do 7 seasons. So I was like, all right. There's a
I mean,
1,000 episodes in this thing, that like in the manga or something like that,
in the
in the book.
the animated series came out, it was released in 1999, right?
Yeah,
And
and it's
so
is it still going?
yes, they have 15 seasons, over
Mhm.
1,045 episodes.
Yes.
1,045 episodes. Season 1 of the animated series had 63 episodes.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
I watched a couple episodes of the animated series. I can't get through the animated series.
Mhm.
It's just it's a bit
Well,
too
'cause it's
kiddie.
made a long t like 20 years ago they started this thing.
Yeah,
Like, it feels like it's 20 years ago, and it's gonna get better, like, the newer stuff is gonna get a lot better in
yeah,
quality and everything, but it's fascinating how big this thing is. Like, I think, like, I've seen One Piece stuff, but I never watched it, so I didn't know what it was. Like, I've seen people go on with the straw hat and all that stuff. I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, okay. Kids thing, like, whatever." Like,
Straw
that's
Hat
what I expected
Pirates.
from.
Mhm.
I didn't think I was gonna like it this much, but I did because like, after I watched the series, I immediately started watching all these YouTube videos about it, like,
Yeah.
immediately,
Mhm.
and getting all the background information about stuff. It's like, "Oh, shoot, this is
Yeah, this
crazy."
this is a huge this is huge.
It's a big deal.
This is a
It's a
big
very big
deal, you
deal.
know. And I mean, to do 15 seasons of an animated series on Netflix and to have over
Mhm,
1,045 episodes, and then to do the live action and hit the live
mhm.
action right on ahead,
Yeah, that's another crazy part.
you know?
They nailed this show. Like, this show
Yeah,
is good. It's got it's toned down the anime thing, so it's not too insane, and it made it as realistic as they could. But like, they got the perfect balance between the two. Like, I don't know how this pop. Well, I think because the creator is involved with the show.
yeah.
He's like
Mhm.
behind the scenes, and he's like, "Yo, that belt looks whack. You take that belt off,
Right,
change those
exactly.
boots." Right?
You
He's
know,
doing that stuff behind the scenes,
this
and it's a factor.
yeah, this was shot in South Africa, Cape Town, Western Cape.
Mhm,
Um, I was reading some things where they said that the budget for this series was about 138 million. And I'll
mhm.
say this, right? It really the production looks really awesome.
It looks good. It
It
looks
looks
clean.
good. I mean, that was, you know what? That was the thing that sort of kept me interested. I was just like, wow, this looks
Mhm.
really good. I mean, to go in thinking that this is going to be some sort of a kiddie show or something like that, right? And to
Yeah, yeah,
then look
yeah.
at the production value, to look at like the everything, you know, just the CGI, and I was just like, man, this is big. This is
Mhm.
huge. I mean, these
Yeah,
guys aren't playing.
yeah. And it's the like the you can see like the ships and stuff like that. Like there's attention to detail and all the
Yeah,
stuff. Like I don't this is the thing. I wish more TV shows would spend more time like putting care into the show.
yeah.
And I
Attention to
think the
details. Mhm.
writer's strike is gonna change that because we're at the point now where just throwing out shows. Like there's 100 shows on TV right now that just premiered last week.
Mhm.
And I'm never gonna hear of any of these shows. I'm never gonna see them. I don't know who's watching them, but like they're just throwing out shows.
Yeah.
And I think because of the strike and because of budget cuts, like everybody's hurting right now, they're gonna have to go back and be like, "Hey, we need quality over quantity. We need a good show to make people stay on our watching our channel or whatever."
Yeah.
And this is a prime example of it's better when you make a show that the creators love versus you're making a show because it's something to do and you just want to get a paycheck. Like it's just so much better. Like the
Yeah.
overall process is better. The quality is better.
Yeah.
Cause
This
like the
quality is up
silly
there.
elements in this show is still okay. Like
Yeah.
for me personally, I hate all the silly stuff in anime. I hate it. I
Mhm.
can't stand it. So like I only watch certain types of anime that doesn't deal with that stuff at least too much. But like the silly things that happen in the show, I'm like, this is fine.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with this. Like, yeah. I even think twice. Like I didn't even bat an eye. Like, oh, this is crazy. Ah, I can't believe they're doing this stupid noise voice or whatever. You know, they do like, oh, like that
Right.
stuff. Like
Exactly.
that. They skipped over all that crap, and they're like, yo, we're just gonna make a good show, make it kind of violent, but still be like TV 14 or whatever it is. Like it's
Hmm.
something 14.
It
So
was
it's like
fun.
PG 14. Like it was fun, but kids can watch it still because it's kind of a young adult show. And the concepts, man, they're talking about some serious things on the show. Like
Do,
like the chef when they got abandoned on the island and this guy had to eat his leg. Like that is crazy
for
for a kids
real.
show.
I
That is
mean,
crazy.
and then even like Nami when
Hmm.
the fisherman took her, which is kind of
Yeah.
interesting, and just basically
Yeah.
enslaved her. And the fishermen, they were you always have like even in this show, you always have a
Hmm.
ridiculous villain, a villain who is bent on killing
Yeah.
everyone, the whole nine. We had one here, right? And you
Hmm.
you you knew it was just like, okay, when
Like
is
the
this which
Arlong guy.
yeah, which episode is this guy going to get destroyed? Just the
Yeah,
fish
yeah, yeah.
people. It's just like the fish people. The other interesting thing about this show is the diversity of the
Hmm.
ethnicities. You saw absolutely no, you know, racism, discrimination. Although, the fishermen
Yeah.
were talking about like how
The
they were
fish, yeah, the
enslaved
fish
and
got the
everything.
racism there.
Right, exactly.
They got it.
But
But like
you saw like blacks, you saw whites, you saw everything, and
yeah,
there was
yeah.
no problem between any of them. I was like, this is kind of interesting to me.
Well, because the anime is like that, and the manga is like that.
Yeah. Hmm.
They had the mixture of cultures and
Yeah.
people in the manga,
Hmm.
so like it is what it is. So I think that's a huge factor because like it's not one of those shows where like, well, we're gonna make this person black or we're gonna make this person Asian just because we
Right.
got to fill a quota.
Hmm.
It was like this is what it's supposed to be.
Right.
I
Exactly.
think I think people appreciate you're like, yo, we're trying to make this show as close to the thing as possible,
Hmm.
and we're gonna do what we can. Like we're gonna take some stuff out we can't like film because there's like I think there's like this guy, he's like a octopus or something like that, and like they're like, we can't film that right now. We don't
Yeah.
have the time, but next time maybe.
Hmm.
So like it's that stuff like that I'm cool with. I know some people were upset because he's supposed to be important to the character development, whatever. But I'm like, that's fine. Like I do.
We'll get them in the
Most
next
people who are
season.
watching this show have no idea what One Piece is.
Yeah.
They've
I
never heard of it before.
never heard of it.
They've never
I'm one
seen
of them.
anything.
I'm one
Yeah,
of them, dude. For
yeah.
real.
I'm one of the people I've seen posters of One
Hmm.
Piece. I'm like, this looks stupid,
Yeah.
and I just like I just put it out of my head like this looks dumb. Cause like the anime I watch is like like space anime, like Robotech or like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like uh um yeah, like just space stuff or like the sci-fi film noir police dramas and anime. I watch that all day.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff I love. And but yeah, like I never got into this kind of stuff, but like I am a fan, and I started watching the anime, the cartoon, just to be like, yo, what's going to happen next? I want to know what's going to happen next season. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm fascinated now,
You
and
have over 1,000 episodes to watch, dude.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So that's the thing. Like, I never cared about One Piece, and then I'm like, holy crap, this thing's huge.
Yeah.
How does this get past me?
I,
But
mhm.
it's just the arrangement of the style of anime it is. Like it's just not for me. But apparently it is. I
Yeah.
don't know.
What turned me off from watching the anime is every time a new season came out, the thumbnail they
Mhm.
used, it was just like, oh, you have this kid, just with rubber arms and everything. I'm just like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
I'm gonna
That
be
that
into this.
stuff.
I don't think I'm gonna be into this, right? So they need better thumbnails for one, just to like, start pushing people to the show, at least the animated series. The live action is
Yeah.
pretty cool. They have a second season. The
Mhm.
Straw Hat Pirates. What do you think about Monkey D. Luffy? Or Luffy, I should say.
I didn't when the show started. I was like, "Oh, this kid is the worst."
Yeah.
But like as the show went on, I was like, "Yo, this guy's gangster."
Hmm.
Like, how did I see this before? And
He's
like
pretty
I
gangster,
like
isn't he, dude?
yeah, I like his thing where he said towards the end of the show, and he's dealing with Arlong, and he's like, "Yo, just can't mess with my friends."
Hmm.
He's like, "Yo, if I gotta die out here, I die here." I'm like, "Yo." I like that, and I like the aspect with his grandfather.
Yeah.
Like that whole stuff, the dynamic there, because like
Hmm.
he looks like he's a bum, but he's like from royalty, right? Basically,
Yeah.
like his family's very important to the entire ocean what's going on here, and it was the East Ocean. His family's huge in that, and he just looks like a kid, a silly kid that cries a lot, and like his growth. Well, because here's the thing too, they jumped like 40 mega ahead
Yeah.
to do some of these stories, so
Hmm.
like from the aspect of the first show where he just looked like a goofy kid crying all the time to when we get to the end where he's like battling his
20
the
years later. Hmm.
yeah, it's like there's a good chunk of time, but they just for the sense of just for TV they kind of cropped everything together, but like his growth as a character was great.
Yeah.
And after our first couple shows, I think when what's the guy, the pirate guy, uh,
Which one?
was it something, the Bumpy or something? I forgot his name.
Oh, you mean
The
the
pirate guy, the this clown dude,
oh, Buggy the Clown.
Buggy. Yes.
Hmm.
So when we get to the Buggy episode, that's when the show got really interesting.
Yeah.
It got real interesting because Buggy just he kidnapped the whole town. He had them like tied up in a chair watching him do this stuff. I'm like, yo, this is a dark show.
Yeah.
I'm
Hmm.
in. Like, let's go.
And
Let's
then
see some more.
the other thing is, just based on Garp, the admiral, um, the world
Mhm.
government had relations with some of the pirate warlords.
Pirates.
Yeah, it's just like,
Yes.
okay, so because they brought out what's his name, Memhawk, who's a pretty cool character, isn't he, Memhawk?
That there's so many favorite characters I have on this
Yeah.
show. That's just a
Mhm.
lot. He's one of them.
Yeah, he's
He's
one of them.
gangster.
He's gangster too. And there is also a code that these pirates live by. Like
Mhm.
Memhawk, he could have easily destroyed Luffy, but he said, "We'll do this later." Well, we can get
Yeah,
into it. Like, get
and Zero
stronger. We'll do
too.
this later. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, Zoro. He's like, yo, I'm gonna chop you up a little bit right now, and then
Right.
come talk
Hmm.
to me later, bro. Like,
Right.
I
Uh-huh.
respect that.
Exactly. And it's just like, and I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. And then Arlo, and then
Mhm,
Buggy the Clown, and then Alvita, the female pirate who he punched the
mhm.
mess out of her, didn't he? Yo, I was like, damn, he punched her hard too, man. The the other interesting thing about this is, again, like I said, the production value. I mean, this for 130, let's just say $130 million.
Yeah, about
For $130 million, this joint looked awesome. You
yes.
cannot deny that. It looked awesome. I
The
mean, you had the
special effects
water,
is
special effects were
yeah.
crazy, right?
The set pieces where they're at, like
Yep.
they have like the restaurant. They built a lot of stuff for this show,
They built a
and
lot of stuff, dude.
it wasn't like Mandalorian where they're just in a little box somewhere with the cameras behind them and screens.
Yeah.
Like they were in some places,
They were on
and I think
location,
that
dude. Hmm.
yeah, and I think that helped tremendously with the show. It makes the show feel better. Like I know the screens and all that stuff, the volume, it's gonna get better, and you're gonna get bigger volumes where you can actually do stuff in them. But
Right. Hmm.
what you gotta be on location, man. That's the one thing from the movie creator that I just watched. They were on location,
Yeah.
and it shows. It
Hmm.
feels so much better.
Yeah.
And CGI is amazing, but like location matters so much more.
Yeah.
Like just
That
being there.
that's a really that's what that location makes. That's what makes foundation so good. It's like they're on location,
Mhm. Yeah.
shooting all this stuff. And I think the other thing is, when you're on location, when you're outside of North America and you're shooting this
Mhm.
stuff,
Yeah, it feels exotic. It feels
yes,
like
and
different.
your cost goes down in terms of, you don't have to pay a government so much money just to be on location. Now you can spend
Mhm.
that money on the actual production of the
Yeah.
series or the movie. So I think a lot of people are
Yeah.
getting this. You also see that, a lot of these movies and TV series and everything that we watch, they're shot on
Mhm.
location. They're not shot in America. They're not shot in Canada,
Yeah,
because we're
yeah.
just too expensive.
Well, I think I think part of it may be laziness. I'm not sure. It
Mhm.
could be like the people got to be close by because they're filming another movie in 2 weeks or whatever it is. Like
Mhm.
it's minor little things, but I gotta be honest, man. Watching movies like I watch like old movies when I get time. like from the 80s and 90s and like 70s, whatever. And they didn't have the green screen and the special effects. They had to go someplace.
Yeah.
And like that magical feeling that you got from Star Wars in the 70s, like that couldn't you couldn't duplicate it. And then nothing they've tried since gives that same feeling. Cause like even all the stuff that they're doing, like George Lucas was doing when he made the other three movies, he still went to a place somewhere.
Yeah.
It wasn't all green screen. He still had to go somewhere
Hmm.
and film the desert stuff in the desert. Like he still had to do it.
And
And that
mhm.
I don't know. Like we gotta get away from the ease of just standing in front of a box and film a thing and
Yeah.
fill it in later. We gotta get away from that.
This a little
I hope
lazy.
we do.
Hmm. Yeah. What do you think about the character Nami? The girl. I was okay. So with Nami, I was like,
Mhm.
I wasn't sure about her, and then I was like, okay, she's this person who she's been through some
Mhm.
trauma, so she doesn't trust anyone. It's just like I don't necessarily
Yeah.
like characters like that because it's like, well, people are here trying to help you. Why are you not, trying to,
Yeah, yeah. Like you can't trust you. Like yo,
right?
but I
Exactly.
think with Nami, I didn't like her in the beginning. I thought she was annoying,
Yeah.
and then but you would get this backstory, and he
Hmm.
makes her human.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my god, it's one of my favorite people on the show right now."
Hmm.
But, like, it that when she had that thing with Arlong, when he took the money and she's, like, done. She was basically finished.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there
Mm.
and she's like, "Come on," like, Luffy, like, "Yo, I need help." And
She
this
said,
guy came
"Help
out there
me."
like Superman.
She
Yeah, she
said,
said, "Help
"Help
me."
me," and I was like, and you know what? That's a very good point because
Mhm,
every crew member of the Straw Hat Pirates they
mhm.
humanize by showing them their backstory,
Yes, it
right?
helps so much.
It's just
It
like
matters.
Sanji, who was just like on a rock with Zeph, and Zeph like
Yeah, yeah.
he chewed his leg off
He ate
because
his
he
leg and
gave
gave this kid
oh
all the
boy the
food.
bag of food, right? And he had a
That's
bag of like, just gold and everything else like that.
yeah, it's just jewelry and stuff like
Right,
that. But that seeing that storyline was like, holy crap, man!
Yeah.
This show is infinitely deeper than just some pirates and some kids running around. Like it's
Dude,
infinitely deeper.
I'm all in on the live action series, man. I can't
Yeah,
wait for like the season
absolutely.
2 to like be released for real.
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%. I'm like, yo, hurry up and finish this thing. But to me, seeing each of their backstories and what happened, like their backstories are miserable.
Yeah.
Every last one of them
Hmm.
have a terrible backstory. Like it was Zoro, because that his friend died,
Yep.
and he's like, "I'm gonna train for you." Like there's a bunch of stuff that happened to each one of the characters. You're like, "Holy crap!"
Hmm.
Like the kid is
Usopp.
that's the one with the girlfriend. Yeah, Usopp.
Hmm.
His story is crazy.
Yeah.
His mother died in his hands, and he's like, yo,
Yeah.
his father is
When
pirate too. Like
yeah.
all of these stories, if it was just one person had a story and then everybody else was just cut out, it would been that's what most TV shows are. You have the main character is a great story, and then everybody else is just hanging around him and just saying stuff for plot. But like there's all each of the characters' stories in the One Piece thing, the Straw Pirate Gang. Each of their stories is an excellent thing just by itself. If
Yeah.
you just had a story of Nami alone, that would have been good.
Yeah.
Luffy alone, that would have been good. Like each one of them alone was fascinating and interesting. And you got like five of them together, and they're all interesting. Like that's
That's
incredible, man.
and they weren't the original two like Zoro and
Mhm.
Nami, they were not originally down with being part of the crew. But I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
what happened over time was Luffy just he made it a point that you guys are my friends.
Mhm.
If someone messed with my friend, I'm messing with them. And he kept like
Yeah,
hitting that
yeah.
point, hammering that point throughout all the episodes. And then they created this like really cool camaraderie. And then by the end of the
Mhm.
show, they were like a real crew. Although I
Yeah,
think
they're ride or
that,
die now.
yeah, although they need a larger crew, because right now,
Yeah, they're not ready.
Luffy
They're
has
not
like he
ready.
has a bounty he's wanted and he has the largest bounty 30 million berries. I guess that's a
Mhm.
dollar,
Yeah,
um
yeah.
but so that was his whole point. He was just like, I just want to be on a wanted post. I want to be the most wanted pirate out there. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you
'Cause
think he's going to find the one piece or what?
Yeah, I think so. He's gonna find it. It's about him. The
Hmm.
show's about him. I think he's gonna find it. But uh, that's the thing that made the show interesting for me is that you know Luffy made himself important to all of the people on board. Like he did something to help all the characters' main storyline.
Hmm.
Like he was out there and he was ride or die by himself at that point.
Yeah.
So like that, it made him like, yo, how can we not ride with this dude, man? Like you know what I'm saying? Like if
Right.
you want a crew and you want a captain to go follow behind, like this guy made himself be like, hey, I'm willing to die for you. Like this crazy.
And
As an anime, this is
that's pretty
crazy.
cool. And Luffy, he figured out what everyone's dream was, right? Because they all had
Yes.
dreams to be something, right? Um,
Hmm.
and he was like, "Yo, you should follow your dream," So it was just like Zoro
Yeah,
wants
yeah.
to be like the
The
best,
best swordsman
pirate
ever.
hunter. Nami wanted to free her village, Coco Village.
Hmm.
Usopp
Hmm.
wants to be um a captain
He wanted to
at
go on
some
an
point.
adventure.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
wanted to be captain on an
And
adventure.
Sanji wanted to find the All Blue, which is this area where, he can find spices. It was all about food for
Mhm.
him. He's just like, if he finds the
Yeah,
All
yeah.
Blue, then he can find all these spices, meats, everything, fish, the whole
Mhm.
nine. So they all have a purpose. They all have a dream. And it looks like they're fulfilling their dream. They have a really
Mhm.
cool ship, right? Because, the owner of the shipyard, the girl gave them the ship.
Mhm.
So they have a pretty cool ship. And
Mhm.
yeah, man, listen, this was a really fun live action series to watch. I
Mhm.
mean, I went into it thinking that this would be sort of like a young sort of thing to watch, but no,
It's not really though.
cats are getting switched up in this joint, man.
Yeah, it that's the thing about it too, is that the storylines are not they're very mature.
Yeah,
They're
I
not for
mean,
kids.
I
They're
mean,
very
it's
mature.
pirates, so you have some swashbuckling, some like
Yeah,
and
there's
things
the
like
fun
that.
stuff, but
Mhm,
like the very first episode is about this kid that's kidnapped,
right,
and she's like when somebody's torturing her. They're like, yo, this
yeah,
thing like that very first episode. This is what they put you into. Like the storylines are very mature, but I think they tackle them in a way that makes it interesting and worthwhile. Like you want to see what happens next, and that's pretty rare for these kind of shows. Like you remember we were talking about Cowboy Bebop. Like it's the same company that did both shows,
yeah.
but one has the creator involved, and the other one, the creator is like, I don't want to see this garbage.
Right,
Like,
it's
like
complete garbage, man. Complete,
yeah.
like,
But
no
I
cohesion
think
at
that's a
all.
factor.
Mhm.
That's a huge factor. Like the people in One Piece, they care about the show, and they've seen the show before they got booked and to do it in the first place.
Yeah,
I think that's a factor. That's a
yeah.
huge
They
factor.
did their
The
homework, man, for
creator is
real.
yeah, the
Mhm.
creator is heavily involved with how the people are acting, what it looks like on screen, how it feels, getting the emotional aspect of it. The creator is heavily involved in that. Like you, that's a huge deal. Like
Yeah,
that's a huge deal as far
mhm.
as the creativity process. And I
Yeah.
think that as far as the creator goes, like he's basically like, hey, do this, but I'm gonna step back a little bit. You guys do your thing, and if you need help, then let me know. But I'm gonna be here to kind of guide and focus thing. But I have to be on your neck of like, this is terrible. This is do like don't you don't do that. And it's great. It worked out great. This is a very interesting show. Just
It's
the
very
concepts alone.
it's very interesting, man. It's very good. Again, this is IMDb gave it an 8.4, but
Mhm.
this is a really good show. I really enjoyed this show, man. I'm
It's a
not even going to
good
front.
show.
What are
It's a
you
good
going to
show.
rate the live action
Ooh.
series One Piece?
I give it a 9
Mhm.
right now for the first season, and it partly because I thought the first season was really good. Like it ended on a good note, and like when they got in the boat and they put their foot in the barrel, the was it barrel, and
Yeah,
they said all their dreams or whatever. I was like, oh, this is cool,
that's pretty
but
cool, right?
I know what's gonna happen next, and so uh, I give it a 9. This is a very good job
Mhm.
for creating something that's anime, Japanese, and well beloved from people.
Yeah.
And I think that by doing a show that's well beloved and you actually do it in a way that the fans like it and the new people that don't know anything about it like it, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Like
that's
you
a
don't
home
understand how
run.
hard that is.
That's a
That is
home run, dude.
hard to do. Yeah.
I was also thinking, I was like, what am I going to rate this? And I was like, I can't give it a 10 because this is not really my genre. So I decided to give it
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
9. And I'm
Yeah.
giving it a 9 because, again, they took an animated series over 15 seasons, over
Mhm.
1,045 episodes, and made it into a realistic live
Mhm.
action, right? And hit it on the head, just hit it out the
Yes.
park. Everything about this was dope. I'm going into it raw. I don't know anything about this. So to me,
Mhm.
the writing was pretty good. The production was pretty good. The special effects was pretty good. The CGI was pretty good. I mean,
Mhm.
everything about this production was really on point. And you said something earlier where, it's just like, writers and like they just have to get better, right?
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
when you go to Amazon Prime Video, they have a lot of sci-fi up there. But dude, they're like 1 star, 2 stars. Just like you have like a
Mhm.
huge catalog of sci-fi, but the writing sucks. No one's interested in it. It's just like,
Yeah.
so to have something like this released, and again, it comes from an animated series that sometimes can be a little goofy, into
A
like,
lot goofy.
right, right. And then to like, just morph this into a really good live action. Man, this is a
Mhm.
9 all day. This is a great show. Get past the first 2 episodes if you're gonna watch this, and then everything else is
Yeah,
gonna
just
be
tough it
really
out.
tough it
That
out.
that 9, the 8.95, whatever it is on IMDb,
Mhm.
it's a good score.
Yeah.
And for that many people to give it that high a thing
Mhm.
is there's something to this.
Yeah, as a matter of
And
fact, here with the it's gotten over 104,000 reviews. Not
this
bad.
show is
It's
huge.
pretty good,
Like,
man.
normally, it's like
Mhm.
10,000, 40,000,
Yeah.
100,000 people reviewed this thing. This show is
Yeah.
huge,
This is
and
this
it's becoming a phenomenon. I think that the way people talk about Stranger Things, they're gonna talk about One Piece.
yeah,
Like,
this
just
is
the normies,
mhm.
not even the fans, I mean the normies,
And here's the
the
other thing.
regular people.
So they have like their the fan base. They have a huge fan base for the animated series, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
You are now about to create a totally different fan base with the live action.
Yes. Yes.
So it's just like, wow. So this is, again, we both gave this a 9. One Piece, the live action series, original on
Mhm.
Netflix. This is a really dope live action series based on the animation, on the animated series. And go check it out on Netflix. Tough it out the first 2 episodes because it gets really good after
It's
that.
worth it.
It's
It's
worth
definitely
it.
worth it.
Well, there you have it. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I am DJ Keo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.
Alright.